Hey y'all, so I'm so excited to finally start doing my YouTube channel with you guys, just to show you like what I do as an average routine in terms of going to class, maybe a little date every now and then, nothing like too glitzy or too glamorous, but something that's definitely gonna give you like that wow look that people will definitely notice whenever you go, wherever you're going. But I would like to show you something that will be easy to replicate for you guys, something that mostly just includes a lot of like detail and blending, because I believe that true blending will give you a look that looks amazing if you are starting out, or if you are even, you know, like super into makeup already, totally fine. But I'm very excited to show you guys what I have in store. But this will be my classic brown and gold look that I've done literally since I started makeup, like since like beginning of high school. So this is not going to be anything like too drastic, but it will be a little vamped up, add a little bit more metallic colors as well to it, just to give it a little more shimmer. But I'm so excited for you guys to be joining me, and I can't wait for you to see what I have in store for you guys. So now we're just gonna jump right into the eyeshadow. Since I've already primed my face, everything looks good. I've used my Clinique foundation that I actually just purchased. So if you guys are interested, this is the Clinique one. Being that I have super oily skin, I tend to use this one only because it is made for your skin to be matte, look really good, and have a little more finishing touch to it. But I also use my Clinique. This is my regular bottle. That's my foundation I have lived by for the past like 4 years. But that's the one that I use. That one is more like more generalized, and it has a concealer built into it, so it actually works out pretty good. But being that I said I have oily skin, I prefer to use my matte one. And then also for my priming of my eyes, I've typically tried a couple primers before, but for me, my concealer, my Fawn LA Girl concealer has been, my best friend in terms of just doing that. And then I also use like some banana powder just to kind of like set it on top of my eyes, and then we just kind of roll with that. Typically the concealer tends to be a lot smoother for me, so I like it because it's, you know, number one, it's like cheaper. And then also I just get to kind of use it with my eyebrows and then go right into my eyes. And then once I set it, we get this nice like little smooth little look that we have right there that I can start putting my eyeshadow on top of. So for my first little thing that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be using my Jaclyn Hill. This is a Morphe palette right here, but it's just like one of the special collection ones. I also put it back actually down below in the comments so you guys can see it. But I'm going to be using this just to kind of start out with the top part of my eye. Usually I start with the top and not typically like the crease area. So I'm going to take actually this color right here, and it's going to be called Shh. Oh, okay. I'll go with it. But this is going to just be used as like my transition color that I'm going to kind of put right on top. Right kind of underneath my eyebrow. Not necessarily a highlight, but just something to kind of just add some color to my eye before we start. This is typically like my go-to color. If I don't ever really know what to start with, I will put this on my eye. And just going in circular motions. And by the way, I'm just using like a little fluffy brush. A lot of my brushes that I've been using kind of just come as a collection, so they don't necessarily have an actual name to them. So it's just been kind of like fluffy, not fluffy, flat, maybe not flat. So just kind of going with that. And like I said, it just kind of goes right underneath your eyebrow. Just to give it some color. Let's get my hair out the way. Just to get some color started. You can go a little bit slightly into like a little bit depth of your eye, like right there too. Because like I said, this would be a transition color. So nothing too dramatic starting out with. And that once again was my Dark Magic Jaclyn Hill palette by Morphe. But now I'm actually gonna get into My next Morphe, my favorite, my new baby. This is my baby that I've been using for the past couple weeks that has been good to me because it has so many different colors that I absolutely love. But this is my Morphe, and this is going to be the Hey Girl Hey 25C palette that I've been using. I actually got out the Morphe store, and I'm just going to be taking a slightly smaller brush. I can show you in comparison to this one, and this one, using this one right here. And this one's actually going to start going into my crease, like right up in there. And I'm going to be using this color right here, Ella, which is in this palette. And I'm just going to kind of take some on my brush and go into my crease with it. Close your eye a little bit. And by the way, this palette is super pigmented, so that just means like you honestly don't really need a lot to get the color that you want. But in just a second, after we just put just a little bit of this just to give us a little bit of base in our crease, you can just see that my crease just got a little bit darker. And like I said, I love blending because I just believe that you need a lot of blending because you want your colors to look cohesive no matter what colors you're doing with it. But being that this is a brown look, is not very hard to take your time to really put the time into making sure they look good because they're just like different shades of brown. Just gonna do this with my next side as well. Like I said, you might only need to dip it like once or twice into that color because it is so pigmented, which is what I love, because that way like it's not any like stress about having to put a lot of effort into dipping your brush like a million times just to get the color. So windshield wipers, go up a little bit, because you want it to start blending with our top portion. But if it does not do that immediately, it's not something that you want to be like super concerned about, because it's okay, because you're gonna come back in, and usually like I come back in with it and I end up cleaning it up a little bit more and doing some more blending like towards the end of doing my eyes anyway. So not the biggest deal in the world. So looks pretty good, just doing a little bit of base with it. Nothing too crazy. And just trying to go back up a little bit where I put my initial transition color just to make sure it blends in a little bit more. But like I said, we'll come back to that as well. So there you go. Now, the next trick I'm going to show you, like I think most people know, but I didn't really know until I found out, is that you actually just want to take your setting spray. This is my NYX setting spray right here. This is a matte finish one. Doesn't really matter in terms of like what I'm about to do with it, but I'm actually just going to take my brush that I was just using, and I'm just going to spray it like directly about twice. Let it dry just a little bit. And then I'm gonna go back in with that same brown, only because I want it to become a little bit more like right at you. So I'm just gonna take it, and it's okay if it's a little wet. You kind of want it to be a little wet. That just means it's picking up a good bit of product, which isn't a bad thing, right? And as you can see, the more I'm putting it in there, the smoothness and the deepness of my color has dramatically changed. Compared to this side, which I haven't done it with yet. So I'll blend this up a little bit more. Blend it up, blend it up, blend it up. Make sure you get all up in those creases too. I'm gonna go back in, and you might only need to do like one spray this time, only because it's probably still a little bit like moist from the first time that we just did it. So I'm just doing this just to make sure it gets a little more even coverage. Let it dry, let it dry. And I'm just gonna go back in. Like our creases, as you can see, looks pretty good, looks pretty even. Now we're actually gonna get into like the actual bottom part of our lid, and I'm actually gonna start with doing my dark brown on my edges. Usually I save the middle of my eye or like the corners of my eye for the last part of what I do for my eyes. So I'm actually gonna be done with this palette. Once again, this is the Morphe Hey Girl Hey 25C palette. And we're back to my Dark Magic palette. So with this one, we're actually gonna take this Mojo color. It's actually is like really dark. It's like a coffee, no creamer type thing. But we're actually gonna put that on just the corners right there, and then we're actually gonna bring it in a little bit, but not too much, because that's what blending is for, to kind of bring in colors that you don't want to like have a pow when you go right into it. So once again, for this one right here, since I wanted to have the deep dark effect of it, I'm actually just gonna go ahead and spray it and not even do a base for it this time. Just gonna kind of just go ahead and spray it because I want it to be like super on my ends, because I want them to look really deep and dark, because that's just gonna bring out my metallic colors even more. So this is my flat brush right here. Pretty simple. This one, another part of a collection that I had, so nothing with a name on it, but it's just a nice like little flat brush that I'm gonna go in with. I'm gonna go in with right here. And that's what I love about a flat brush, is it with the padding, it just does so much, and it gets so much coverage in so much area all at once. I'm not gonna go in too deep right there. Ooh, that's some dark stuff. Okay. And I just want to make sure I get all my inside, especially on my eye. Bring it in just a little bit. Pat it, pat it, pat it, pat it, pat it. Go back in with this same small little brush right here that we already used before for my second color, and I'm actually just going to take a little bit of that last brown color that we used, just to help me in terms of blending in all of this darker color. Usually, like when you're blending in this dark color, you don't want to use that same dark brown that we've just been using, because you want it to feather out into something a little bit lighter and not so like right at you. So that's, I'm just gonna take this. Because if you were to use that same dark brown, it would be like way too aggressive on your eye. So taking it, blending it, honey. Circular motions, and you can already tell, like, just compared to this eye, once you start taking your time and blending stuff in, things will kind of work itself out. And as you can see, I'm kind of like trying to work it slowly inward, but not taking over everything, just to kind of do that. And then you also have to remember that the brown that we put on there, the second color brown that we did, the Ella from this palette, is also going to help us because it's already on my eye. So it's already going to help in terms of blending this dark brown in. So that's going to, you only can just put like one touch of it. Put like one touch of it and then be good. So once again, I'm gonna go back in with my dark magic, and like I told you before, I'm just gonna go back in with this color, just to start making sure I'm blending everything as I go. Now I'm actually going to take one more time with this small little brush. He's doing his job today, honey. But I'm going to go to my next little Morphe palette right here. This one is our Jewel Crew, actually one of the classic ones, 9C, that I'm going to be using only because I want to put a little bit of sparkle. I'm going to start putting a little transition sparkle for me. I just don't like putting just metallic and sparkles right on top. I would rather just kind of transition into it. So by taking this color right here, Flex, right here is actually a very like dark brown, metallic-y, but more on the sparkle side. It's kind of in between them. But that's going to help me just kind of transition into my gold that I'm going to be using, which is just Fool's Gold right here that I'm going to be using next. But just going to take my brush right here, swirl just a little bit, and I'm just going to start putting it right here, where I'm going to start transitioning from that dark brown to my next coming gold. And it's very subtle, so it's not something that's absolutely necessary, but for me, I don't know, I just see a lot of details. So I end up seeing it at the end and going just like this. I see it towards the end and I'm like, ooh, that was a good addition. So of course, you know, as you go on and you start figuring out what you like and what you don't like, then you'll be able to add like little small details like that maybe only you notice, but it completes your look, right? And like I said, I'm just going in between that dark area where I haven't really done anything with, which is my inner corner. And then I'm also going in between that dark brown when I'm adding this little bit of transition sparkles. And I'm just gonna kind of add it so that way it covers just enough for it. Like I said, you know, you can add as much as you want. Of course, you know, it's only going to be but so much you see because you're blending in with that dark brown. So you're not going to see a whole ton of it, but. Now for our last little addition, which is going to be the grand entrance of this nice little gold color. And right now I'm about to use this M421 brush right here, very small head brush right here. Another flat brush, because I feel like flat brushes give you a lot of coverage, a lot of color all at one time. So I'm going to use this one that we just used. This is the Jewel Crew 9C. And we're about to use this nice little Fool's Gold. It's kind of hard to see it because it's just that metallic-y that's kind of shining off of itself. But I'm gonna once again take my setting spray, spray, let it dry, let it dry, let it dry. Just a little bit. This one, you kind of want it to be a little wet because the application is a whole lot better if you do that. Just gonna take some of this. Make sure I pick up enough on it. Already popping now. This one, I really love this gold because it's more of like a paint pot type color. So it's not necessarily like your typical gold glitter. And right now I'm just kind of like trying to spread it out over my eye. Just in the area that hasn't had any like little color with it, so. And for this one, I typically use a whole lot more spray only because I like it to pop because that's where your corner is. That's where you want all your glams to be at, so. I typically use a little bit more because I want it to be popping. Yeah, spreading it out just a little bit more. Now, while that dries, I'm actually going to try to jump to the other side. Now, once again, while I let that kind of dry a little bit, I'm just going to go back in with this big brush, nothing on it. But I just want to once again go back in and start blending again. Getting into my crease just a little bit. Go back in and blend again. Once again, I'm gonna take this small little one right here again. I'm gonna go back into my flex. And then I'm gonna try to finish transitioning and actually go over that gold color just a little bit. Just to help it transition itself just a little bit better by going over it and if you're like me and you're just like, oh my God, like I just want something else to do with your eyes. I'm that type of person where I'm always looking for something like, okay, something's missing. I'm gonna go back in with this Mojo color right here. And I'm actually just gonna pat some back in just a little bit. See how that just deepens it just a little bit more, only because we've had a couple colors up in that area, so it's just gonna help it out. A little bit more. Okay, and for the last time, y'all, we're gonna blend it out just to help make it look smooth. Take it in my crease just a little bit. Take it in my crease. And then take this eye and do the same. Whew, okay. Yes, God. Right here. So I'm just gonna kind of zoom in just a little bit more. You can kind of see like where I am right now in terms of the process. And for me, Once again, if you need to, if you see anything that you really just want to do to make sure everything looks good, you always can take that same transition color and go back in with it. Now we're just gonna do a little bit of like cleanup just so you can kind of like get a little better little angle, and it's just gonna help clean up these little ends right there on the tip. Hey y'all, so I am back with my final look. Everything has been completed. I've added some lipstick, a little bit of gold eyeliner underneath my eyes just to pop it. And then also I have also added my lashes. You know, a girl must have her lashes, gives a final look. So I've added all that together, a little bit of setting spray, all good to go. So just to let you know, a couple of products that I did use that you guys did not see me use in the video would be this Kylie Jenner. This is the matte liquid lipstick that I use, and it is the True Brown K color. So this is what I use on my lips. Absolutely does not move. You can drink anything, do anything, and this thing will not come off. You literally have to use like a whole makeup remover on your lips just to make sure it comes off. So really good product. Then also, these are the lashes that I use. These are the Allure Thalia, and these are absolutely amazing. I only use this brand basically for my eyelashes, but this is like their little tropical, like summer vibes type brand that they've been using. So I hope that you guys enjoyed my look. I'm gonna give you one final look at how everything came together. After I did a little bit of setting spray on my face, everything looks good now. So I'm just gonna give you like one more look of everything as a final look. You know, I had to do a little duck lip, but this is my final look. I hope you guys enjoyed being with me, and I would love for you guys to give me feedback and let me know what you would like to see, how I can help you guys out, and just also to help me learn. But thank you guys so much. Have a great day.